Hello. Why must you fall in love with yourself to be healthy, happy, and slim? Why is self-love the key factor into becoming the best version of ourselves? I would love to talk to you about this today. So I'm going to give everyone a little bit of time to join us. Hi Anna, hi Silke. And give us time to ground down and become aware of this present moment right now. You've taken time out of your busy day, hi Patrizia, to listen to me, to be together. So let's create that community right now of people from all over the world, all connecting in that desire to experience more self-love and to use that vehicle of self-love to really create the best year ever. And I'd like to give you some really practical tips today and especially show you what I feel is missing in most approaches that we have going on right now. We have so much information coming at us, right, in every given moment. So let's tune out of all that buzz for this moment and connect to where we are right now. Maybe get into a comfortable position. You can be lying on your couch in your pajamas, that's fine. Or you could be sitting upright, taking notes, whatever feels right for you right now. And I would love to know where you're tuning in from today. So which part of the world are you connecting from, and would you share what your biggest desire is for 2021? I'd love to hear. And at the end of this little presentation, I will have time for some questions. I would love to hear your questions, your thoughts, and your insights that you gain in this time that we spend together. And if you feel like sharing this video with your friends, then go ahead and do that. I feel the most important thing right now is that we all find our joy. We find our peace in this present moment so that we can create more of what we really want. And I'll tell you more about that because this book that I wrote a couple of years ago called Sleep Your Fat Away was actually designed as the missing link in weight loss. So when we moved to the States 8 years ago, Ryan and I were pretty shocked. I mean, me mostly, because I hadn't been to the States for many years. I was so shocked at the obesity rates in the US. So imagine in the US, every third child is obese. Okay, so we're not talking a little bit, a little bit more fat, but we're talking obese. And when we talk about obesity on a global scale, we see that we have a lot of unhealthy, obese, sick people on this planet who are really struggling with finding that happiness, that health, and that slim body that they are maybe dreaming of but have given up on. And although there is so much advice out there on what to eat and what not to eat, how to exercise, still it's not really working. So why is it not working? Well, I'd like to show you the difference between, I call them the 7 ways of how we used to do things, how we used to approach becoming our best selves. And then I'd like to show you the 7 new ways of how we can do that and how we can every day choose to be our healthiest self and how that doesn't have to be a struggle. It shouldn't be a struggle because if you're struggling, that only means that you have a bunch of sabotage going on inside of you that you are trying to compensate with willpower. And that doesn't work because willpower is only meant to give you that push of motivation, that inspiration in a moment of crisis in a short span of time. But if we're running our lives on willpower, then it's not surprising that we end up feeling rather burnt out, pretty frustrated because we're not getting to where we really want. And that energy level in our body will feel literally drained. So you'll maybe not sleep that well. You'll feel you're not recovering from I don't know, an infection that well. Your body's maybe struggling. Maybe you're having health issues. Maybe you don't have enough weight on your body. You know, many are listening maybe and, you know, say hi if that's you. Maybe it's not about losing weight for you. Maybe it's about gaining some pounds. You see, when we're not in balance, when we're not congruent, then these symptoms can show up all over our lives, right? And then that stress level will be a continuous, a chronic stress level. And I'd like to show you how to turn that around. So when we talk about why is it so important to fall in love with yourself, to become your slim, healthy and happy selves, then that word slim might mean something different for every single one of us. I believe it's about finding your right weight, your healthy weight. And, you know, for every body type, that weight is different. And that's where these charts of how the, you know, the BMI, the body mass index, you know, can be a little off. Because for every body type, there's a different healthy weight. And then if we look at the word happy, our cells are always listening to what we're saying, right? And if we are thinking unhappy thoughts, if we're in a state of stress and frustration or sadness or anger or whatever like that, then we're vibing at a really low level and we're not feeling happy. So our cells are also not happy. They're actually feeling stressed. They're under threat even. They're feeling unsafe, right? And so what we want to do is we want to find a sustainable, happy way of living, a way that we can treat our bodies and treat our minds so that we truly feel that joy inside of us. We will still have unhappy moments maybe because something happens that really throws us, but it doesn't have to throw us in the sense that we start feeling depressed or start going on that downward cycle into those low vibrations. Because what happens when we are in low vibrations, remember, our brain is a sender and a receiver of information. So it's like having your own radio inside of your body, your own computer, right? And if you're sending out vibes, thoughts that are judgmental, that are negative, that are bringing you down, then you're going to attract more of those thoughts. You're even going to start believing that is who you are. And then you're going to start creating from that state. And there's no surprise there, right? You're going to create more of what you don't want, more of that state that you're already in and that you don't really desire. So the main thing that you need to decide, and really this is your choice, is am I ready to change my state? Am I ready to embrace a new way of thinking about myself? Am I ready to embrace a new way of approaching life? If you are, then you're in the right place, because that's what I'd like to talk to you about that sender and receiver of information in your body, your brain, right? That is the missing link. And when we start engaging our brain and training our brain to be aligned with us, then we have something that is called congruency. And you'll see in my 7 old ways and 7 new ways that congruency is part of the new way. Because when we are congruent inside of us, that means that all parts of us agree with this goal of being healthy, happy, and slim, then your brain has to create strategies, think thoughts along that line, and your vibration will already be at that level of happiness, health, and slimness, even if you aren't yet in the now, because you are creating from that thought, from that vortex that you're creating. So we'll go into that a little later. So you're in the right place whether you are looking to shed some fat, and you're in the right place if you're seeking to gain some body mass, right? You want to have a few more pounds on your body. Why is that so? Well, I'd like to look at the word fat with you, okay? F-A-T, fat. Most of us will connect physical fat to that word. So literally the fat we carry on our bodies. And that is part of that fat. But there's more to this fat. Actually, that fat that we can be carrying around with us, that burden of extra weight, can also be emotional baggage. You know why? Because every unprocessed emotion, especially negative emotion, can stay stuck in the body. It can literally change the way your cells respond. It actually is proven in epigenetics, right? There they prove that not only the emotions that we feel most of the time change the way that our body responds to stress, how it heals, but also that emotional baggage we can bring with us from previous lives, from ancestry. So, you know, that maybe that way of dealing with stress, but also if you have migraines or if there's arthritis in your family, you'll often notice that it's literally a lineage, that maybe mom and dad had it, or grandpa and grandma had this. And then you can see in epigenetics that these patterns, right, these patterns for disease, these patterns of emotional behaviors are also inherited. So this fat consists of physical fat, emotional baggage, but also ancestral programming. And we're not even talking about the programming that we receive in this life. So you see, in the first 7 years of our lives, we are programmed, like it or not. And how are we programmed? Let's look at the brain. Our brain's frequency is measurable. And if you hook people up to one of those brain scans or the electrodes on the head, then you will be able to see that the brain waves shift in their frequency. We can go from a very busy state, that's the beta brainwave state, into an alpha brainwave state when we relax a little. Then we can go into a theta brainwave state when we're really deeply relaxed. That's also when healing happens, right? And then when we fall asleep, we usually go into the delta brainwave state. We also have gamma brainwave states, but let's stick to beta, alpha, theta, and delta. Deeply relaxed brainwave states being delta, theta, and alpha. Now, in the first 7 years of our lives, we are in those relaxed brainwave states. From 0 to 2, we're in delta. You and I will have a hard time staying awake in delta. Then, when we're 2 years old, we shift into theta. From 2 to 7, we're in the theta brainwave zones. So, in these really relaxed brainwave zones, we are highly suggestible and really well programmable. And that means that children are like sponges for everything that is happening around them. And they are especially sponges for the comments, for the beliefs, for the emotional reactions and the information they are receiving from their caretakers. So their parents, their peers, people that are around them. And because in those relaxed brainwave states, our conscious mind, that one that is doing the thinking that we're using or that I'm using right now to speak to you, right? That is like switched off. That filter is not there. That's why children take on all this programming so easily in a very unconscious way. So unconscious that when we grow up, so when we hit puberty, right, 12, 13, we will switch into the beta brainwave states. That's where we stay in as adults unless we relax or meditate or sleep. So until then, we're taking on all this information, all the beliefs, everything, what is true, what is not true. And very often that is just not right for us. So how often did you maybe as a child have a stressful moment when a parent was telling you off, when something happened that you couldn't explain and then your child's mind came up with some reasoning for it, right? How often did that happen and how much of that are you still aware of? So if you, for instance, grew up in a family, say, where dinner time was maybe a stressful moment, maybe there was fighting going on, maybe there was conflict in the family, then you were eating all those vibrations too. You were taking in maybe all that negative programming, the words that were not very helpful, and you believed that was true, and you even made it so far that you said, this is me, right? You didn't know the difference of your own emotions and the emotions of your parents, for instance. Then think further. Think, how was it at dinner tables? Did you have to eat your plate clean? Did you have to eat your plate clean because otherwise the weather would turn bad or the children in Africa would die? Think of all the things we've heard. And think of all the times that you were told that you can do something or you can't do something. This is who you are. This is not who you are. Up until the age of 18, we have heard over 180,000 times what we are capable of, what we're not capable of. And all that is stored in our unconscious mind, in the subconscious. Imagine an iceberg. You only see the top of the iceberg. That's the conscious mind. But underneath the water, there's this huge part of the iceberg, which is like a metaphor for the unconscious mind. Because imagine this computer, this brain, being divided into conscious and unconscious. Unconscious being like 80% and 20% being the conscious mind. Then in the unconscious mind are all the beliefs, all the experiences of whatever happened to you, everything is down there. But because we are usually so busy in our conscious mind and so distracted with doing all this stuff that we're doing, we only tap into the unconscious mind when we sleep. And that's why we dream. That's why we often get messages in our sleep, because it's actually often the only time that we're taking the time to connect to the unconscious. So in the approach that I created together with my husband, Dr. Martina, who's a holistic doctor, we said, okay, let's change that dynamic and let's focus on this unconscious mind by consciously taking choices, determining the direction, setting goals, but then programming the unconscious to be aligned with those goals. Because very, very often it's just not. And that's what we notice when we are, for instance, embarking on a weight loss journey or on a health journey. Because what we notice is that even if we set real great goals, clear goals, we're determined this time it's going to happen, as soon as we start taking action, as soon as we start acting upon the decision that we make, we will notice that sabotage will hit. We'll set the alarm an hour earlier because we say we're going to meditate, we're going to work out, we're going to do this, we're going to do that, right? And then next day comes, the alarm clock rings and you think, no, it's so dark outside, it's so warm in my bed, I'll do it tomorrow. Who knows that? I know it. Or think about it, you've made the resolution to not touch sugar for a month and you're going to stay away from sugar. You don't need sugar, whatever it is, right? Yeah, it might work a day. Maybe you're great and you're doing really great for 3 days. But then imagine on day 4, there's a real stressful moment at work. And maybe your boss tells you off and you feel like a failure and it's all going haywire. And then your co-worker brings in donuts and they're warm. And you're thinking, oh no, I made this choice. I shall stay away from those donuts. But then the co-worker says, oh no, come on, I brought them in specially and you're slim anyway. Come on, that's not going to make a difference. Don't be so hard on yourself. It's going to be great and we're a community. Come on. And then you think, oh, okay, I'll eat the donut. And then you eat the donut, and while you're eating the donut, you might even be saying to yourself, oh, drat, this is going to go straight to my hips, and I shouldn't be eating sugar, and all the stuff that's going to happen in my body now, and na. And then you've eaten the donut way quicker than you thought, and maybe you didn't even enjoy it because we were so busy judging yourself. And then you've eaten the donut and you feel terrible because you think, there I go, 3 days, I am such a failure, and then you might give up. Anyone know that situation? That's sabotage. That's the sabotage coming from your unconscious mind. Why? Because the unconscious mind is rather like a child's mind. It's really emotional and it does not know the difference between reality and imagination. And the unconscious mind is terrified of change. Change is scary. Change means that something's gonna, feel unsafe for a moment. That's what keeps us in our comfort zone. But when we train the unconscious mind to be congruent with our goals, that sabotage is just not there. And then you automatically start creating new healthy habits, whatever it is that you need to do. And if I say whatever it is that you need to do, I mean the following. Just as much as your body knows what its healthy weight is, your body knows what foods to eat, what foods to stay away from. Your body knows when it wants to rest. Your body knows when it needs to move. Your body knows. But you have most likely spent lots of years not listening to the body. And that's where we can get caught in this trap, right? Of not being able to get out of our comfort zone, fighting with willpower, feeling not good. That's the old way. And now I'd like to show you the new way. So the 7 old ways, and I've made it really easy for you. This was intuition guiding me, by the way. The 7 old ways all start with a D for dog, a D for, daddy, D. Okay, so let's take the old way. You make the decision that fat is going to be gone. You're going to get into the best shape ever. You're going to be healthy. You're going to be happy. It's happening. And then most likely in the old way, you decided, okay, what I'm going to do is I am going to do a diet, because this diet, I read about it. I saw so-and-so lost, I don't know how many pounds. I can do this. Okay, so the first word, the first mistake that we make is say, I'm gonna do a diet. What's the thing about diets? Diets are usually things that we do for a short period of time. It's not meant to be something that we're gonna do forever. It's not a lifestyle, it's a diet, okay? Then, what do you need on a diet? You need the next D. You're gonna have to have discipline. You're gonna have to stick to this diet. Now, how do you feel when you hear the words diet and discipline? Does it make you feel joyful and happy inside? Or is it more, oh, yes, I know it's necessary. Okay, so once you've started this diet, you're disciplined, what happens next? You usually have to deprive yourself of your favorite foods, of the things you like. So deprivation sets in. Diet, discipline, deprivation, not very happy words. What happens then? Well, usually at some point or other, we feel a little depressed because we feel we're depriving us of something that actually makes us feel happy. When we feel depressed, we're usually disappointed in ourselves. We feel we could and should be doing better, so we're not really living up to our own expectations. Disappointment sets in. When we're disappointed, we are disapproving ourselves. We're basically telling ourselves that we're no good. And I can tell you one thing, ourselves and our body and our mind does not like hearing that. We want to hear how loving we are, how loved we are, how great we are. When we're telling ourselves how disapproving we are of ourselves, heavy stuff, heavy fat. What happens then? Once we're in that kind of state and vibration, we're disconnected. We're disconnected from our body's intuition, from our body's intelligence. We're disconnected from that love in our sides of ourselves. Those are the 7 ways, the old ways, okay? So scrap that. We're not walking towards destruction and devastation. That's the old way. We are now going to explore the 7 new ways. And to make it really easy for us, intuition has guided me to call these the C ways. C as in cat or charity. So the 7 new ways, and the ones that I would suggest we start adopting, and I'd love to help you on these ways, is we start out with congruency. We make sure that our subconscious mind and our conscious mind are on one line with each other. That iceberg is moving into the same direction. Next, we feel and tap into that courage inside of ourselves. Courage is not feeling scared. Courage is feeling the fear and doing it anyway. And we will need courage when we start a new adventure. Courage is something that we want to tap into so that we can feel that fear maybe even, but we can do it anyway. We can take action because it will require us to take action, right? Next C word, we want to create commitment. Now, commitment is easiest in a community, okay? Because when we're committed and we have others around us that are like-minded, then we don't have that crab effect of that coworker telling you, no, you don't need to do this, eat the donut, right? But you have the commitment and the support of a really powerful community around you that's cheering you on, another C word, right? So when we have that commitment towards ourselves and the community that we're in to achieve this goal, then we will feel that cheer inside of us. We will be cheerful. We will see this challenge as something that we're going to rise up to. So that cheer is going to bring us towards our goals. Then we will feel clarity. We're clear on our goals. We have the support. We're joyful and cheerful inside, right? And then we start building confidence. That's maybe the most beautiful part of the feedback that I've been receiving for 8 years now. Imagine this program has been around for 8 years. We've always been improving it and revamping it. But the Sleep Your Fat Away, you know, the basic program was created 8 years ago. And in those 8 years ago, the best feedback that I always received was mainly from women saying, you know what? I have confidence in myself again. I like myself. And that made me realize that's what we need to be focusing on. If we focus on that confidence that we want to have in our own abilities, in our body's ability to create change, right? Then we'll just feel happier automatically. And we'll also be more courageous because we actually are setting ourselves up for success rather than failure. Okay, when we feel confidence inside of ourselves, we're also more compassionate. We're more compassionate towards ourselves, we're more compassionate towards others, and this compassion is a beautiful healing energy for your body. It's healing for your heart, it's healing for your cells, it's the vibration of love. So compassion is crucial on this journey, and it's the foundation of self-love. You need to have compassion for yourself, be kind. Okay, then when we have the compassion thing figured out, connection sets in. We're connected to our body's intuition, to that highest intelligence where our body knows exactly what it needs and we're listening. And those are the 7 new ways. So when we follow this path of can instead of don't, right? Those D words, that's the don't. We don't want to stress. We don't want to hold on to something saying, no, I've got to do this with willpower. Because just look at what happens when we're stressed, when we're holding on. How should the body release mass when that's what the body is feeling like? It doesn't even make sense. What does make sense is to approach the can way, to say, I can be calm, I can relax and release. Relax and release. And when I relax and I release, then my body automatically sheds what it no longer needs. Your body is super, super intelligent. It's the mind that's been messing it up. And now when we get the mind on board, you'll see that this journey can be joyful, it can be easeful, and at the end, you'll come out feeling so much love for yourself that you'll naturally start exuding it out around you. And what happens then? Then the miracles happen. Because when you're tuned into the vibration of love, you automatically attract more things that you can love and that you feel loved, and that abundance can set in, because that's actually how we're meant to live. We are created of the essence of love. So the more we tune into that and feel that self-love, start exuding it out, the more joyful life gets. So my invitation to you is to join our Sleep Your Fat Away Challenge 2021. It's a real, unique, first time ever that I'm doing this. I want to make sure that you have absolutely no excuses for reaching your goals this time. Maybe you set great resolutions at New Year's. Well, we're nearly in February, which is usually the time that most of us, 83% of us, have fallen off the wagon of our resolutions, and we've had some dips and we've maybe even given up. Now's the message, hear me. Now's the message that you can do this and you don't need to do it alone. I would like to help you. I would like to be there for you every single day for 5 days to make sure you get onto this bandwagon of health and happiness and a slim body, and you have the community around you to support you. Because that's where it becomes fun to do challenges, because we're all there cheering each other on, sharing our best tips. I'll give you all the advice that I can, and I will walk you through the 5 golden rules of sleep your fat away. And remember, we're not all about shedding the physical fat. Sometimes we're just in for shedding the emotional fat or the ancestral stuff. So that self-love journey will take 5 days. That's when the intense boot camp takes place. And every single day at the same time, like now, we will be connecting on Facebook in our own private group. And there I will share not only the 5 golden rules with you, I will walk you through what it takes to start removing that sabotage and what it takes to become a conscious eater. Because when we eat consciously, when we're listening to our bodies, we automatically become healthier and happier. And in those 5 days, I'll explain everything to you that's written in the book, everything I've learned so far, and I've learned a lot in 8 years. I will share my best yoga practices with you, breathing practices. We're also going to be working with the Healy, that little device, the frequency medicine, where I'm going to be putting the whole group, the whole vortex, right, our community, on my personal Healy. I will be treating us as a community for those entire 5 days. You're going to be blasted with healing frequencies. We're going to have each other. We can share. We can really walk this path together. And then after those 5 days, you can choose. You can choose to stay in our beautiful group and to do the whole thing, the 3-month journey. Why 3 months? Because we know that it takes 90 days to create a new habit. 90 days of doing something so that you no longer have to think about it. It becomes autopilot. And that's why we're doing the 3-month challenge as an upgrade. You can decide now to take part in those 3 months with us, because if you do, you are receiving the Sleep Your Fat Away app. It's a beautiful app that you can download on your phone, where you have all the resources there, right? You'll have all the meditations, the power breaks that we'll take every day. You'll have your sleep programming in there. I'll tell you more about that in a moment. You'll have your virtual gastric band. And we've put a bunch of resources in there too. We'll be tapping together, right? I've created a flow chart that is specifically made. I call it the 5 steps to self-love. A simple tapping technique. We're going to be using NLP, hypnosis, everything that I know to make sure that you're really congruent with making this heart's desire of yours to become healthy and happy and slim and feel great in your body. Make that a reality for you. So in the 3-month challenge, you receive the app, you receive the access to our private Facebook group, where every single week after the 5 days, I will connect with you on a Monday, same time, and you can ask me any questions at all. And I will answer them all. I'll teach you everything that I can in that time that we spend together, so that we really can tune into that beautiful vortex together and make your dreams happen. How does that sound? Well, you'll see a link up top in the post or down here in the comments. I'm sure my team is busy posting. If not, I'll do it the moment I get off. And there you will find a link to sign up for the Sleep Your Fat Away challenge. So how much is it an investment? The investment in dollars is $27 for the 5 days. I've made it really affordable, right? $27, we connect every single day in our private Facebook group, and I will explain the program to you, and we will start getting onto that sabotage. Those are the 5 days. Or you can choose the 3 months program. For that, you get the entire program, the app, you'll get all the bonuses, all the resources, and a weekly Q&A in our private Facebook group after the 5 days are over. And that package costs $97. It's a great deal because the Sleep Your Fat Away app, you can go now in your app store, you can go on our website and you can buy just the app for $197, and it's worth every single cent. We used to sell it for more, but now you can get all of that for just $97, and that app is yours for as long as you want. There's no time label on that. How does that sound for you? I hope you're feeling some excitement inside of you. I hope my message is resonating with you. And let me now talk about sleep programming. So I'm going to take a sip of water. That is one of the golden rules of Sleep Your Fat Away. Drink lots of water to help your body detox and release. So I'm going to do that. I actually like drinking hot lemon water. That's another good tip. You can write that down right away. Hot lemon water is a great way to help the body detox, and I like drinking it in the morning and in the evening. It's just tasty, and warm water is really nice for the body because it doesn't have to warm it up anymore. In the US, a lot of people just drink iced water the whole time, and according to Ayurveda and a lot of other research, hot water is often easier for the body to digest. So drink hot lemon water whenever that feels right. Sleep programming. Why is sleep programming so successful? Well, remember the conscious and the unconscious mind? The conscious mind goes to sleep at night, right? It's dozing, dreaming somewhere, doing God knows. The unconscious mind doesn't sleep. That means that when you are asleep, you can use those nightly sleeping hours to program your brain because you already are in a relaxed brainwave state. You're basically ready for hypnosis. And these sleep programming audios that I have developed take you through the whole night, giving you positive suggestions, reprogramming those limiting beliefs into empowering ones, and already tuning you into that future where you already are healthy, happy, and slim, and filled with confidence and compassion and all that. So while sleeping, you can be training your brain to be congruent with your goals. And when you do that over 90 days, it's become part of your system. And your identity has changed. You see, that's what we want. We don't want you identifying with your old you, the one that's maybe struggling and that's overweight or unfit or unhealthy or whatever and unhappy. You need to create this new identity of your healthy, happy, slim self, the conscious eater, the one that loves moving the body and drinking lots of water and being congruent with those 5 rules. So in the sleep programming and also in the daily power breaks, and I'll tell you more about those, I am giving you all the suggestions and taking you through the process so that you don't have to think about it. And those sleep programs are different as depending on how far on in the program you are. So in your app, you will see sleep program for week 1, you'll see sleep program for week 2, because you see I've changed the messaging as we move forward. For instance, in the second part of the program, you will hear some suggestions that you're about to have a virtual gastric band operation. Because just like in everyday life, if you were to schedule an operation, you would have a time to prepare for it. You would think about it. And we're doing the same in our Sleep Your Fat Away program when we install the virtual gastric band. And that's going to be one of your favorite little helpers. But let's now talk about the power breaks. Your only commitment in the Sleep Your Fat Away bootcamp is to tune in to our daily meetings or watch the replay. And then it's about taking a 20-minute break throughout the day. 20 minutes. 20 minutes where you put in your headphones or you put on your speaker, you lie down and relax, or you can sit in meditation if you would prefer, and you listen to me talking to you, telling you how amazing you are, how ready you are to release all the old stuff and embrace the new you, and all the good things from hypnosis and NLP, everything I know, I've put it in there so that in those 20 minutes, you are not only de-stressing, you are relaxing your entire body and brain, you're going into the relaxed brainwave zones, and you are programming your brain to be aligned with your goals. Then, all you need to do is before you eat, you're going to tap this point. You can write this down. This is another tip. It's good for everybody, whether you're following the program or not. Start tapping the area above your lips and below your nose. There you go. It's called Cupid's bow. Remember Amor, Cupid? Okay. This is a very powerful acupressure point. And when you tap this point and breathe, and then maybe say something nice to yourself, like, I am worthy to be a healthy, happy, slim person. I am grateful. I am aligned with my heart's desires. You know, something like that. And breathe. Your whole nervous system will calm down. Your body de-stresses. And then when you eat, you'll have a way easier time eating consciously. What does it mean to eat consciously? Well, that means that you eat without distraction. You really focus on that present moment. You focus on chewing well, on tasting the food that you're putting in your mouth, really enjoying it. What about saying nice things to yourself while you're eating? You could think, oh, how grateful am I to have this amazing food right now. Thank you, body, for digesting this well. I know you're going to know exactly what to do with this body. Or maybe you're like, with this food, sorry. And maybe you're like Grace. You know what Grace says to herself? If she's eating something like chocolate or something that's more on the, you know, luxurious side of food, then she will say something to herself like, okay, body, thank you. All the good stuff in and all the other out the poop way. Gracefully, easefully, and joyfully. Thank you. That's how specific you can be. You could also, every time you drink some water, say to yourself, this is fat-burning water. This is my healing water. I am so grateful to have this water. Gratitude creates abundance, and an abundance of great thoughts creates great beliefs and creates great actions. You see, you must think great things about yourself before you can do them. You must think great things about yourself before you can do them. So we want to get you congruent with that you in the future that is healthy, happy, and slim. And we want you to be able to visualize that person and to feel, this is the most important part, to feel what it would feel like to already be that person. Those feelings of excitement and gratitude and joy and bliss and pleasure are the ones that are going to create that vision for you. You don't need to see it to believe it. You need to believe it to see it. Does that make sense? So please check out our sign-up link. You'll find it up here or in the comments below. And ask yourself the question, what if it really were that easy to become my healthy, happy, slim self? Why am I so worthy to invest in myself? And when we're talking about this investment in self, think about it. You've got one thing, that's the monetary investment, and I've tried to keep that as low as possible. The other investment that you will need is a little bit of time, and that time is really doable. 20 minutes a day, come on, you can do that. And do you maybe have 20 minutes and then for 5 days you have an hour of connection that you could look forward to? Is that doable? Yes. And if you can do that and you can press the button on your phone to listen to the meditations, then I would say you're ready to do this. So check in with your heart. Take a few deep breaths and say, am I worth this? Am I worth becoming my best version of self? And if the answer is yes, then go ahead and click that link. If the answer is no, I'm not worth that, then tell me why not. Why are you not worth that? I know you're worth it because I know that we're all worth it. And we all not only deserve to pursue our happiness, but we deserve to find our joy. And that's my mission in life, to spread that joy while I help myself and others thrive. So do go ahead and shoot me any question you may have. And yeah, let's hear where you are right now. Is this making sense to you? Are you excited? Yeah? Then let me tell you about the virtual gastric band until I see a question coming. Hi, Karen. It's so good to see so many of you online. Thank you for making this time. So what is the virtual gastric band? Well, a gastric band is an operation. You see if I can find the picture. It's an operation where a band is placed around the top of your stomach, your belly, so that your stomach decreases in size. So a normal adult stomach is about the size of an orange. But when we overeat, maybe for a longer period of time, that orange can grow into a melon, even a watermelon. And what that means is that when that watermelon is so big, you see that here? That's the stomach. And then this is the band they place around, so that the stomach is only as big as this little pouch up here. Very effective operation, right? So that means that you don't need this much food anymore to feel full. And you can only eat a little amount of food because otherwise you'll feel nauseous and not good. So in this normal operation, right, that is done often, one usually helps obese people to eat less. The problem is that although it's pretty effective, the ones that need it are usually not in the healthiest state to be able to have an operation like that, because, every operation also has risks. It's, you're cutting open a body. So I think the most beautiful thing about our brain is that it doesn't know the difference between reality and an imagination. And we can use that effect. So when we imagine having this virtual gastric band operation, we'll have the same benefits, but we will not have the side effects of a normal operation. So what happens in the virtual gastric band operation is it's an audio on your phone that you get in the Sleep Your Fat Away app. So you set a date. I would really be that specific. I would even put it in my calendar. I would say, okay, the gastric band operation scheduled here. And then you turn everything else off, all distractions gone. You go to bed, right? You might want to lie in a special place, cover yourself up, get real comfortable, plop in your earphones, and then you listen to this hypnotic journey where I take you through a virtual gastric band operation. So you will hear hospital sounds, you'll imagine yourself walking into this hospital, getting into your room, getting the anesthetic, going deeper and deeper into relaxation until you're maybe even sleeping, and that's fine. And in this operation, you will be receiving all the suggestions that you just had a gastric band operation. And I can't tell you how fun it is to do that hypnosis. I used to do it one-on-one with my clients, and my first client was Roy, my husband. And I did this gastric band hypnosis with him in the lunch break of the training where we had just learned it. And we did it, and it was jolly fun. And then after that, we went and had ice cream. So normally, Roy would order 2 or 3 scoops of ice cream, and he'd really enjoy that. And this time, he, I think, ordered maybe 2 scoops, so it was a little less than normal. And he started eating the ice cream, and then he wasn't even a quarter of the way through. He said, you know what, Joy? I can't finish this. I'm done. I'm full. What happened? Well, his imagination did the trick for him. So his body believed that he only had this little stomach. So he was not able to eat the amounts that he usually was able to do. And that has stayed that way until today. So until today, Roy has become, or is, a conscious eater. He eats slower, much slower than he used to. And he enjoys his food more, and he definitely does not have a weight problem. And he was jolly, had a lot of baggage with him when I met him. It was that much baggage that when Grace was a little girl, she was only about 2 or 3 years old, she would poke his belly and she would say, is there a baby in there? So that was his moment, his cue to create a change. And then we were so blessed to meet Sheila Granger, the hypnotist in the UK who actually developed this virtual gastric band operation, and we trained with her. And from ever since then, it's a done deal. And that's something that I would love to share with you. And then we have more fun stuff in there. We also have the aversion audio. That's one of my favorites. So I've never had a weight issue, so I've never been overweight, but I was definitely not healthy always. And my body fat percentage was pretty high for a skinny person like me. So I was a toffee. Do you know that word, a toffee? That means thin on the outside and fat on the inside. And that's actually the more dangerous type of fat, because that's the visceral fat. That's the fat that collects around the organs of our body, for instance, around the heart or around the liver and stuff. And we don't want that. So whatever fat you have, remember, there are many different types, we can take care of that. You can take care of that. I can show you how you can take care of that. And it's really simple. It's easy to do. And yeah, I want you on board. I'll say it as it is. So let's see. We've talked about sleep programming. We've talked about why it's so powerful to relax and release. That's why the power breaks are so important. We've talked about your commitment. All it takes is 20 minutes a day, and then for the 5 intense days of our boot camp, we'll connect 1 hour a day. I might go longer, but you don't have to watch all of that. Just watch the core part of it. I will walk you through the steps that are necessary to sleep your fat away. I will teach you the 5 golden rules to sleep your fat away. Super easy. One of them is eat when you're hungry. Did you hear that? Eat when you're hungry. Stop depriving yourself. If you're really hungry, not emotionally hungry, if you're really hungry, you must eat. And when you eat, enjoy that food. Bless it. Say nice things about it. It's so powerful. Okay, then we talked about the power breaks, those 20 minutes you take every day. We talked about the virtual gastric band. We talked about the 7 old ways and the 7 new ways. We talked about the importance of engaging the brain and training the brain. We talked about the 90 days it takes to create a new habit. And you will find the links for the sign up page above or below. You have the choice between the 5-day challenge at $27 or the 90-day challenge where you pay $97 and you receive the Sleep Your Fat Away app. You have weekly calls with me in our own private Facebook group. And of course, the 5-day challenge is included too. I hope I've been able to inspire you. I really look forward to seeing hundreds of you in our private Facebook group so that we can really drum up some energy and some support for each other. We're already letting people into the Sleep Your Fat Away Challenge Facebook group because so many of you have already found the links and you decided to go for it right away. So I think we're now around 20 people who already signed up before we even launched this program. And the official launch of the program is on the 15th of February. On the 15th of February, same time, in our private Facebook group, we're going to kick off our Sleep Your Fat Away Challenge 2021, how to create more self-love through mindfulness. And in those 5 days, we're going to have a blast. We're going to really get this rocket going, and then we're going to stay connected for 30 days so that we can really keep the momentum going and we can support each other. You can always ask me any questions. If you simply tag me in the post, I will always answer you. And in our weekly Q&As, you can ask a question live. I will also be sharing my yoga teacher wisdom with you, my breathing pranayama. I will be sharing all wisdom we receive on the Healy. So we're going to be working with the little Healy, the frequency medical device that you do not need to own yourself. I'm going to be creating a group for us on the Healy. That's going to be our client that I'm going to be working on. So at a distance, you will be receiving this frequency that will support your goals, and we will all together rise, because that's the only way to go. I'm not seeing any questions. I'm seeing we have right now 44 people online. Angel number, send out a wish. My desire is to connect hundreds of people in our Sleep Your Fat Away Challenge with their best selves so we can all become conscious eaters, happy, healthy, slim for life. Thank you. If you would like to share your desire, do so now. I'm sending you tons of love, and I look forward to connecting with all of you in just a few days, 15th of February. Get ready and sign up now. Bye-bye. I love you.